Welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. This is the Scopemate S18 rear add-on to take stills and video footage through your rifle scope. So the Scopemate's got control buttons on the top. It uses an 18650 battery inside. I'll do all that in the detail review when we get back to the workshop. And you can use it standalone with the buttons on top here, or you can use it with an app on your phone. And you know, as always, some people will prefer to use it with the app, some people prefer to use it standalone, but it's got manual focusing on the side, and through the app you can see the picture it's generating, make sure it's focused perfectly on your reticle, and we can just get on and do some shooting with it now. So when I want to start it recording, I can either swap between stills or video, press that button there and it'll start recording. It's recording now. I can also use like a digital zoom, but I think I'd probably do that in post after I take the video as it is. Now it's important to remember that as you change the magnification on the scope, you will actually change the effective eye relief of the scope ever so slightly. So it may well be worth using the scope or using the camera at a fixed magnification and then setting up the magnification on this dial specifically to suit that magnification, which I did at approximately 8 times. Let's have a go at the 50-meter target now. Parallax is critical. Now you've seen me use similar devices to this before, but essentially what this does is it comes and it slots on the back of your scope and it allows you to video through the scope and take stills or video footage of what you're shooting. Now rather than blocking off and actually having to watch on a visual screen, you're actually looking all the way through the Scopemate, but there are prisms inside it, a bit like a head-up display, so that that's recording identical to what you're seeing. There are good and bad factors to that, which we'll talk about as I do the review. Now I'll put a full link to the description of this product in the description so you can actually see all the facts and figures that they tell you. This is more about me giving you my personal opinion of it and how easy it is to set up. So what essentially we've got is this unit appears to be a polymer unit. We've got optical glass on the back and the front, and it comes with an 18650 battery. So the 18650 battery, easily interchangeable, quite common things now for night vision, all that kind of thing. That slots in the front and powers everything. That gives a run time of about 8 or 9 hours, so it says, but you know, you're always going to find differences depending on your temperature, environmental factors. There's a slot on the top, you can charge it, there's a USB-C cable supplied, and you can charge your 18650 battery in there, and there's also the spot there for the micro SD card which records footage. This will pair with your Android or Apple phone, so you can use it with an app or you can use it with just the buttons on the top. The upside to using it with an app is you can check on screen to make sure everything's correctly focused, because with this slotting on the back of the scope, your magnification control often varies the eye relief of an optic ever so slightly, and although it's got a manual focusing dial on the side here so you can get it as sharp as you can, you just need to be careful. If you change magnification significantly, it can go a little bit in and out of focus, and you'll probably see that on the footage, that sometimes you do need to make sure, because what your human eye does is instantaneous, and sometimes it looks okay when you're looking through it, looking through the scope, but when you look at the post-production footage you think, I didn't focus that quite clearly enough for that, because essentially that is not quite as accommodating as the human eye. But you'll get used to it, you'll know what you need to do, and it is actually fairly simple to set it up and use it. Essentially you've got on-off button, you've got video record button, and you've got the Wi-Fi button. The Wi-Fi button allows this little dot on the side here to glow yellow, and it means you can pair it to your phone. And of course when you're initially setting it up, when this goes on here, you need to pair it with your phone, because you need to look at the phone screen and tweak this for vertical position to make sure you've got your picture as straight as possible. And when you are handling the rifle, try not to nudge it too hard, because if it does rotate, your post footage will look a little bit out, off skewed. And not that it really affects it badly, but you might just have to crop it down to make it look proper. It does give you 3 field of view ranges to suit the actual ocular and the field of view your scope presents to you. You can use small, medium or large. I tended to go small, so I've got a circular image, but if you go large you get a full sort of oval image with extreme edges, but you've got slight vignettes in the corner as well. Now in terms of what comes in the box, you've got a bag and cleaning cloth, you've got a USB-C charging cable. Now it comes with multiple polymer collars here slotted inside the scope mate, so you can fit those to make sure it fits the actual scope body you're using. It will work on scope bodies, the ocular body, between 36 and 48 millimeters, and it does come with a decent quality tool to tighten it up. It's just an Allen key, but it's got a nice polymer handle on it. There are 2 Allen bolts on the underside to crimp it in position, lock it in place, and once it's in place, it does stay in position. It also comes with 3 of these little rubber collars, so you can fit those around the ocular body as you want to make sure it's gripped well in position. And there's also here the small additional tools, Allen keys and screws. Just pop those back in there. So essentially, when you're using it, what do you have to do, what do you have to look out for? Well, the more you use it through your phone, the better you'll see the picture it's going to produce if you want to use that in post-production footage. You can record in 1080p up to between 30 and between 120 frames per second, which means you can slow down your slow-mo footage, or it'll go up to 2.7K at 60 frames per second for the best footage entirely. It is very critical and dependent on the focus, so do get used to it and do learn it. Obviously, after I went out shooting the first day, easy to set up, easy to use. The Wi-Fi connection to your phone or tablet or whatever is actually very reliable. I didn't have any problems with it hiccuping or saying, oh, I can't connect, which is very, very annoying with apps. This didn't do that, it was fine. It is described as being waterproof. I wouldn't immerse it, but I think it'll take a few raindrops, and you've got rubber covers on the top here for the slots for the SD card and the USB-C cable, which should keep rain out of it, and the buttons on the top here are also rubberized and it's quiet in use. You can turn things like the bleep on and off, and it's also internally got digital magnification, so you can actually zoom in on screen. If you're using, for example, your iPhone, it'll go between 1 and 8 times digital magnification, so you can really close in on those shots if that's what you want to record. Now personally, I ran it on about 8 power on the scope, because that's where I set it up for perfect focus. But bearing in mind, you can focus it on the side here between 3 meters and infinity, so given time and given experience using it, you do get a much crisper image. Now I've used a trigger cam a lot, which works in a very similar way. I've got used to the way that works. I think optically it's slightly better than this, but this has proved very, very usable. It's slightly cheaper. I don't know the official price yet, but judging on the RRPs I've seen in dollars, this is a little bit less than the trigger cam. And the usability is excellent. I like the fact it's got a separate external battery, because you're not then restricted to having to use a power cable to charge things if you run out actually in use. You can just swap the battery. If I'm being brutally honest, the threads on this battery compartment might just benefit from putting a little bit of lubrication on them, because they do feel quite gritty, and I do worry that in the long term they might just wear a little bit. But in the meantime, there's a rubber collar on there. It's got nice knurling on it, so it's easy to grip, and you can lock that in position. I'm a big fan of this Allen key, which comes with it to tighten it in position. It's easy to access these, and they do nip up, and it does stop it twisting completely. I like the fact it's got 2 screws and there's a spare screw as well rather than just one, and I like the fact that those are actually below so it doesn't tend to twist it as you're actually tightening them up. So once you've got it set up precisely using your smartphone screen or your tablet screen to make sure it's like level, you don't actually disturb it when you're tightening in position. So I do like that a lot. Usability was fine, it was straightforward. It obviously adds a little bit of length to the scope, and this is quite a small rifle anyway, so it's quite a close picture, and you can see from the photographs my face is, it's pretty close in, but I've not got any recoil or anything like that. Were it to be on a bigger rifle, well, you've probably got a little bit more space anyway, and with a 100mm eye relief scope, that's pretty much locked in. So I don't think it's going to be a problem, to be honest. It's just that this rifle is actually quite small and compact, so you are perhaps a little bit abnormally close to it. If I just go in from that side, you can see what my position is on this gun. Overall weight is 260 grams, which doesn't really affect the handling qualities of the rifle, and other than that slight difference in length there, you're not going to have a problem with it, and it certainly doesn't make it feel onerous in use. Anyway, I'll be using this as we go on, see if we can get some more footage with it, a little bit more in use. I'll learn it, I'll get used to it more. But fundamentally, so far, I've no problems with it. I think it's going to work fine. I think I'll get used to it, and I think I'll produce better footage as time goes along, especially on air rifles and rimfires, which I love shooting so much. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that little video. Please like, subscribe, comment, make sure you tell me everything I'm doing wrong and everything maybe I'm doing a few things right as well. Tell me what you like. Make sure though you click the notification bell, keep track of the regular uploads. But in the meantime, thank you for watching. Bye for now.